What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be continuing with our zombie AI in Unreal Engine 4. Now, this is Unreal Engine 4 version 4.26. As of recording this video, this is not the latest version. The latest version is 4.27, I believe. Or is it 4.26.1? Either way, it's one of the more recent versions. It's not the most up to date, but everything which you see in this episode is going to be completely relevant for 24, 25, and 27 version numbers. So, in this video, we're going to be focusing on fixing the animations for the zombie character. We're going to be making the movement more smooth and streamlined. I also have my notes with me here, just bear with me real quick. So the list of things that we're going to be doing in this episode is tidying up the animations. We're going to be adding different movement states, so walking and running for the zombie character, as well as setting up a new chase mechanic, refining that, as well as adding a new mesh for our player here. Now, I'm going to create a poll somewhere on this YouTube video. It might be up in the top right hand corner of the screen. Would you guys like to see this becoming, instead of just a zombie AI tutorial series, I make a full zombie game? I know that there's some people who may be interested in that. I've read a few of the comments of some of my previous videos, and some people like that idea, but what do you guys think? So I'm gonna put that to a poll, but nonetheless, let's get started. So the first thing which we're gonna do is we are going to tidy up our behavior tree. So go over here to AI, go over here to zombie BT, and we've got these two conditions here. So we got the has spotted player is not true, and the has spotted player is true. And what we're going to do is just going to get rid of the wait for 1 second, and also get rid of the move to, because we're going to be making a new task from that. Go up here to new task, and under BT task underscore blueprint base, click that. That's going to make a new task. Now, before we continue with that, just click save and navigate to where that's been saved. That's usually in the AI folder. Here we go. So here it is. And what you're going to do from here is rename this to something sensible, right? Chase player. There we go. Cool. And then drag that into the tasks folder, so everything's organized. But we've got one more to make. Go back into your behavior tree and click on new task again. The same shtick. Go over there we go. Save it. Navigate to where it's been saved and rename this one to update walk speed. In fact, not walk speed, movement speed. Let me make sure that I haven't got that one. My cat's just jumping everywhere. Update movement speed. I think that looks right. Cool. And then again, drag that into there. Cool. So now we've got two new tasks here, so that's two more tasks than we had originally. So let's start with the chase player task. So go into your chase player task, and what this is for is, instead of using the move to mechanic, where it looks a bit choppy, in fact what I'll do is I'll demonstrate what it is. So don't do what I'm doing here, just see the difference. So what's going on right now is that the simple task is it's moving to, and everything looks really choppy. The rotation sort of snaps, and if you move too far away, he sort of pauses, and he loses focus like that. But we are going to be changing that. So open up your chase player task, and if it shows this, just click open full blueprint editor. Now, when you're making a new task for an AI, you need two nodes, and that is the event receive execute AI and the finish executes node. So just drag those two in. I might be able to find it here. No. Yeah. So execute AI. Here we go. And then the final one is finish execute. Without these two, the task is never going to finish. Or, well, without this one, it's never going to start, and without this one, it's never going to finish. And as always, on the finish execute, you want to set success to a true value on the boolean. There we go. So let's start working. So from our event receive execute AI, you want to drag off of this and do a simple move to location. In the future, I may change this to a simple move to actor, but for the time being, we are using a vector, and the vector is referencing the player location on the map, so this will work for the time being. From the owner controller, drag this into the controller. There we go. And we need to set up a variable from here. If you compile, it's going to give an error. That's completely normal. So go up here to variable and make sure that you are on the chase player task. Click on that, and then name this one vector. So this is very similar to what we've done in the past with other tasks. We make the vector, and then we want this one, instead of a boolean, to be a blackboard key selector. There we go. Ooh. And instant editable, so we can access this variable outside of this specific blueprint. Drag this out into your blueprint. I think there's a shortcut. If you hold down Control and drag it out, it automatically gets. Or if you do Shift, wait no, let's see what this one is. Alt, then it's set. So Control automatically sets to a get, and Alt is a set. So that's a helpful, handy tip. Okay, neaten this up. And then from here, drag off of the vector and get blackboard value as vector. And then this is going to give a return value as a vector, and plug that into the goal. Compile, that error shall go away. And then drag the execution pin into the finish execute. And it is as simple as that. You can tidy this up. I think if you do Q when highlighting multiple nodes, it automatically straightens them. Makes it look a lot nicer. Q. There we go. And you don't need to plug anything into the target, and that's it for the chase player. Cool. Close that. Now we're going to focus on our update walk speed. Update movement speed. Where's it gone? If you want to read the text on your blueprints a lot easier, or in your assets, just go down here to view options and click on columns, and you can read the full names. Makes it a lot easier. Let me make sure that I'm still recording. Cool, good. So update movement speed, open up this one, and we are going to do exactly the same with what we did. Let's start with all of our other tasks. Do the execute AI. There we go. And then finish execute. And then set that to true. Cool. Then from the execute AI pin, drag off of this and do cast to zombie character. And if you don't see zombie character, sorry, if you don't see cast to zombie character, but you can see other casts, just check what the name of your your character is. I know some of you might change the name a bit, and there might be a slight amount of variation. If you've set the name of your zombie to, say, alien character instead, and you're wondering why it's not appearing, just make sure that you've written down the right name. I've been caught up with that many times. And then drag the object into the controlled pawn. There we go. So from the pin as a zombie character, we want to get a component from the zombie character. So if we go here, go open for blueprint editor, we've got character movement, and this is a component. We want to reference that. So drag off of the zombie character and get character movement. Ooh. Here we go. Tidy that up a bit. And then from here we can access any variable from our character movement. So any of this now can be referenced inside of this blueprint. So drag off of this and do set max walk speed. There we go. And then connect the cast pin up to the set max walk speed pin, and then hook that up to the finish execute. Now from here we need another variable, so go up to the variables tab, make sure that you're on the update movement speed, and create a new variable, and name this one walk speed, or movement speed actually. There we go. And set this one to a float, because we are storing a decimal number value. Cool. And then drag the movement speed from here into the max walk speed there, and then compile. Oh, you will also need to set it as instance editable, otherwise you won't be able to reference it. And there's one last thing actually, we need to set the default value, so the movement value to whatever we've got on our zombies blend space. I'm just gonna jump back into the tiles view. Here we go. Zombie, animations, oh no, idle run 2D, here we go. And whatever is going to be our default walking speed. So that's going to be 375. In fact, that's actually going to change later on, but oh no, we can leave it to 375. There we go. And set the movement speed here to 375. And if the value of this is different in your blend space, I mean, in your blend space, set it to whatever that value is, because that's going to be the default walking speed for that. So that looks right. You can close out of that. We are not done with the blend spaces just yet, but we are for the time being. So that's that. Click on save and compile, make sure that that's all saved, and then we can exit out of that. We are done with our tasks. Let me just reference my notes here. Okay. So if we run back into our thing, as you can see, he's going to continue running towards us, so we need to get rid of this thing again. You shouldn't have this, I have it because I was demonstrating it earlier, but there we go, it's gone. So now he is no longer moving. He has given up on being a zombie and just wants to relax. Can't blame him. Okay, cool. So let's follow the logic here. So has spotted player is set, we want to get the target location, so he's done that, but we haven't told him to go to that location. Now what you want to do from here is just drag down and then click task, and then find the chase player task. Here we go, cool. And so this now has the vector self actor. You want to change this to target location, otherwise he's not going to know where to move to. There we go. And what we could probably do is, oh yeah, and move this one to the side and from the middle, drag out of here, go to tasks, and click update move speed. There you go. So, what this zombie here is going to do is he's going to get the target location of the player. He's going to update the movement speed to the faster moving speed, and then he's going to move towards that location. Then from here we can play an animation, which we are going to do later on. Similar to this, what's going on here is that he's getting the target location of a random location, moving to that and then waiting, although we are using a slightly different thing here. We are chasing the player. Cool. Let me just make sure that I'm not forgetting anything, because I'm rather forgetful. Let's test if this works. It should work. Here we go. Cool. So when I move around, he no longer does all of that ugly snapping, and he chases the player a lot more smoothly. And you see how he ran away? That's because he's got a short sight radius. But if we were to go back, see, he moves a lot easier. So there are two issues which we currently have. This is one of them, which we are going to address in a later episode. But the other issue is if we move the player out of the way and he's going to start finding a random location, he is going to start doing that snapping thing again, the one which looks really ugly. So we're going to fix that. Let me see where that is. Okay, cool. Yeah. So go back into your zombie character asset, and go to zombie character self. Now, this is where all of the controller details are. Okay, so under the pawn tab, you want to uncheck the use controller rotation pawn yaw. Make sure that that's unchecked. Cool, save that. And there was one last thing, just need to remember where that is. Oh yeah, so on character movement, so that's this component down here. Go down to rotation. Here you go. And you want to check both of these. So set them from false to true. There we go. And set the rotation rate to 180. So half of the original amount. Click save, compile, done that. Get rid of this, we don't need those at the moment. And now if I were to remove myself from the equation, when he finds his new random location, he's going to smoothly rotate there. And this is a night and day difference in terms of how the AI looks. It just looks so much better. It is such a massive improvement. But let's stop oogling at that. Let's get on to the next thing. So animations, we're going to do those next episode. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make our own player look a bit cooler. So I thought that with the whole zombie theme going on here, if we have the player as a doctor, so that'd be kind of cool. What I've done is I have got some more assets for the player here, and these are going to be available in the link in the description below. It's a Google Drive link. If you've followed my previous tutorials, you will have downloaded the zombie assets here. You'll also find that on the zombie there is a new animation here. I think it's the walk animation, so make sure to download that one as well. So the animations you should have in here is the attack, the death, the idle, the run, and the walk. So 5 animations for the zombies. So I'd recommend that you just make sure that you got all of those animations. What we're going to do here is we're going to add in our doctor. So make a new folder here. Doctor 1. There we go. In fact, yeah, Doctor 1, because we might add some more meshes later on. And then drag in your Doctor 1 mesh. Always do the mesh first, because then when you import your animations, you can set a specific skeleton. Make sure that you haven't got it set to already having a reference skeleton. You're adding a new one. Uncheck import animations, otherwise it's going to import the take. You don't want that. And then click import. And this is going to take a while. I've got pretty good hardware, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. There we go. And you can just ignore these. These are referencing hand animations, and we're never going to use hand animations. Okay, now it's time to set up our folder structure. So it's very similar to how we've done our zombie. Go down here to new folder and create a materials folder. Do the same for textures and animations. There we go, cool. Drag the textures, so the ones with the red tags on them, into the textures folder. Click move here. And then move the ones with the green tags into the materials folder. They look like a sphere. Okay, cool. Now what you want to do is import your animations. So grab your animations. So that's going to be everything with the exception of our non-PBR character. Drag that in, put them into there. Now, on our FBX import options, check import animations, uncheck import mesh, and on the skeleton, set it to Doctor1 underscore non-PBR underscore skeleton, and then click import all. Now this should take a bit of time because it's importing all of these keyframed animations, so you just have to bear with for a few minutes. Wonderful. Okay, cool. So now what you can see here is that we've got double the amount of animations we need. Half of these are going to be take animations, where it's referencing the base pose. And these are all T-poses. You can get rid of these ones. We don't need these. There we go. Okay, so now drag your animations into the environments so you can initialize them and they can render all of the LODs and the shaders. And make sure that they all have imported correctly. This zombie's getting very, very close to me. So those all look fine. I'm going to undo all of that and save our map. Cool. Now, so currently we are using our third-person mannequin, Anim BP. We want to duplicate this and retarget it to our new skeleton. So, exit out of everything. It's going to get rather complicated. So I'm going to do this a bit slow. So go to your third person Anim BP. No, don't go to that. Go to your mannequin. Go to animations. And then on third person Anim BP, right click that and click retarget Anim blueprints. Duplicate Anim blueprints and retarget. Go to show only compatible skeletons and uncheck that. And you're going to see that we've now got options here. Click on Doctor 1 and you'll see that we have our new mesh here. Then click retarget. This is going to put these new Anim BP and blend space into the root directory of your project folder. In my case, it's the content folder. And you can, in fact, we're going to leave these because it's going to give us loads of errors if we get rid of those. We don't want that. Save all of that. Cool. So, first thing what we're going to do is open up your animation folder in a different window. It's just going to make things easier when you're referencing things. So I've got my anim folder open here. So go into your idle run 2D for the... in fact, no, rename it first so you know what's what. And name this to Doctor 1. Do the same thing for your third person, idle run 2D. So now your Anim BP and your idle run is now got the right names. Go into your idle run, and as you can see here, it's referencing animations that are just absolutely cursed. So this is the walking one. So from here, just find the one where it says running. There you go, drag that into there. So you can sort of see things as they evolve here. It looks kind of weird. So he's sort of T-posing and asserting his dominance. On the idle, grab that one, put that on the base pose. And then for this one, we're going to do walking. So there we go. That looks right. And this one should be 93.75. This one should be 375. Cool. Save that. But we're not done yet. We are still referencing old jump animations. So jump loop, jump start. We're about halfway there. Go into this and then go into your anim graph. So that's down here in the bottom left. Go to anim graph and then go into the default state machine. Then you might see this. So you've got all of the different states. Go into jump start. And then from the play third person jump, just change this over to jumping up. Go back to default. Go to jump loop. And we don't have a looping animation at the moment. We are going to have a looping animation in the future, but just set this one to running. It won't look fantastic at the start, but when we get a looping animation, it will look a lot nicer. Back to default, and then jump end. Going to replace this with the jumping down animation. There we go. You can now safely get rid of all of these old animations. It is going to complain that it's got references, but those references are now just redirectors. Go and move this into your Doctor 1 folder. Move it into your animations folder. Perfect. Everything's nice and organized. Like so. Okay, so now we need to change our mesh to our to our Doctor character. Let me just check that I'm still recording. We're 25 minutes in, not bad. Okay, check. So go over to your hierarchy. This is the quickest way of doing it unless you're using player start. Go to edit third person character. Go to viewport and under the mesh, go to skeletal mesh and go to Doctor 1. This is going to put him into the base pose, but go to anim class and do Doctor 1 underscore anim BP. There we go. Compile and save. And things may look a bit janky. We just need to make sure that we've got our movement speed set correctly. So go to character movement and set the max walk speed to 375. There we go. Save that. Perfect. So now that looks quite realistic. You will notice that he is hovering. Let's fix that. I think we can just fix that by dragging down to 95 maybe, I think. That should look right. No, 97. Let's try 97. Oops, sorry. If you're using the same mesh as me, just remember to put in exactly the same numbers as I put in. There we go, 97 or thereabouts looks correct. Next, as you can see, there's absolutely no way of being able to evade this zombie because he's moving at the same speed we are. He's always going to catch up with us. So we're going to introduce a new state into our blend space. Go back into your Doctor 1 animations and then go into your idle run 2D. Uncheck, in fact no, hold on for just a minute. Go onto your axis settings, so it's on this details panel here on the left. Go into horizontal axis and then change the maximum axis value from 375 to 600. Set that, save that, there we go. And then on this top one, it's going to want to set this last one as the 600, but just put that back to 375. There we go. So now we've got our idle, we've now got our walking, we've got our jogging or running, but we're going to add in a fourth and final state, which is the sprint, which is where he's moving slightly faster. So this is him moving at 600 speed. Cool. So what we're going to do from here is exit out of that, and we're going to move on to our character BP blueprints. So go over here to event graph, and we're going to set up some sprinting and running key bindings. So go to any free space and right click and do for me I'm going to do left control, and then this left control is going to handle our sprinting. So open up a flip-flop. No, we're not going to do a flip-flop, we're just going to do a pressed and released. So go over here and do go over here to character movement, drag that out, and then do set max walk speed. There we go. What we can do later on is set a set a timeline so it gradually goes from walking speed to sprinting speed. I think I'll do that later on. This episode might be getting a bit too long anyway. And then just duplicate that down here and put that into the released. Make sure that you plug the character movement into the target over here. So let's walk through this logically. So when you press, you want to set the max walk speed to 600. And then when you release, you want to go back to the default walk speed, which is 375. Or alternatively, you could just get max walk speed, which is going to be the default, and then that plugs into here. But I'm just going to leave it as this. Cool. Save that. Okay, and now we're going to do our walking. So just copy all of that, and then highlight the event key binding, and then change that from left control to left shift, or whatever button you want for the walking. For me, I find these two keys to be the best. Mainly sprinting is left control because that's where the top of my palm rests, and left shift you don't really want to walk that often, so you have it somewhere where you're not going to accidentally press it. And then so for left shift you want to set this to 93.75, and you'll notice that this 93.75 is the same number as the animation rate for the walking on the blend space, and I'll just show you that here so I'm not confused. Ooh. Apologies. What you want to do from here is actually just uncheck snap to grid and then change that to 93.75. It's a good thing that I showed you that, otherwise I wouldn't have spotted that. Make sure that the rest of these are fine. 375, yes. So try and uncheck snap to grid. 375, cool. Just make sure that you've unchecked snap to grid, cool. So this is going to eliminate any foot sliding on the ground. So where the animation is playing faster or slower than the movement speed, or vice versa. We can exit out of that. Cool, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a flip-flop. So we have to press it again in order to exit out of this value. So remove the pin from the release, and you can do that by holding down Alt and then clicking on this pin, and it's going to break that link. And then drag off from pressed and do flip-flop, like the shoe. Can flip-flops be called shoes? I don't know. So then A is to set to 93, and then B is set back to default. Cool. I'm going to compact these a bit, save a bit of space. Cool. And then click compile and save. Cool. So now when we press Control, we start sprinting, and we can evade our zombie enemy. And then when I press on that, he is going to start walking. In fact, that is quite slow. It might look better on 150. Who knows? Let's give that a try. 150. Yeah, okay, so leave the walking on 150, apologies about going back here, and recheck snap to grid, but uncheck snap to grid on the running and set that to 375. Cool. So now we're going to introduce dynamic speed for our zombie. So you might see that when I remove the character from here, what he's going to do is he's actually going to stay at this same speed. The same speed as the one from there. Go back into your AI folder, go back into your zombie BT, and make some space for another task here. Go to task, go to update movement speed. Oh, update movement speed, here we go. And for the moment, we're going to leave this unchanged. We are going to have to go back to this in a short while. That's because we need to configure the rest of the blend space for our zombie. So go into your zombie animations. Wait, no. Oh, it looks like I've... okay. There we go. Go into idle run. So now we've only got two states here. We've got idle and our running. We want to add an intermediary here. So drag in your zombie walk. There we go. Cool. And then this one has taken a value of 178. So copy that value from here and punch that into here. 178. Cool. So you can see what he's doing. So when he can't see the player, he's going to have a movement speed of 187. Sorry, yeah, 187 at 178. And then when he can see the play, he's going to speed up to 375. And then that affects our blend space here, which is going to change the animations. And because it's a blend space, we've got a smooth blend between our idle, our walking, and our running. Cool. So save all of that. Save all of that, and then we are practically done. So he's running at us at the rate of 375, and he's going to catch up with us unless we sprint. Oh, there we go, and we can evade him now. Cool, and then he's lost us. And then he goes back to his default speed. Now, there is a bit of an issue with foot sliding with this speed and this animation. So in order to combat that, go back into your blend space, and then go onto the walking and set the rate scale to ×2. And then when we run away from him, oh, I keep on pressing the wrong one. When we get farther enough away from him, there we go. So it does look a bit better, but it's not perfect, which we'll work on in a future episode. Cool. You could probably fix it a bit more by slowing down the speed of the character, but I'll work on that off camera and see what combination looks best. Cool. And the last thing for this episode is changing the camera. So go back into third person character, go to viewport, select the camera boom, and select the camera boom length to, let's say, 250. So that's 50 less. Set the target offset for the Y to be 50. and for the Z to be 50 as well. So what that's done here is that it's sort of put it to a more cinematic camera angle. And you can turn on a bit of rotation lag as well. This is completely optional as well, the whole target offset and the rotation lag. I'm doing it because it gives me Last of Us vibes. So just check those and then double the lag speed to 20 on both, just to reduce the amount of lag. Just looks a bit nicer. There we go. So that looks a whole lot better. There we go. Right, cool. And that is it for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to add our attack animations, and another fun thing is we're going to add a screaming animation. So when the zombie sees you, he's going to scream and then run at you. We're also going to add footstep sound effects for a different type of zombie character, so they can hear you, which is then going to lead on to our different types of zombies, one which can hear and can't see, and ones which can see and can't hear. Just to add that extra element of difficulty. But that does it for this episode. If you've got any requests for features you want to see in this series, do leave a comment in the description. Again, if you guys are interested in seeing this turn from just a zombie AI tutorial into a full-fledged zombie game, please do let me know. I think that'd be really, really cool. And as always, thank you for watching.